Hey guys, Emily here from Peach Street Crafts. I hope that you guys are having an awesome day wherever you are and whatever you're up to. Today I'm finally getting around to starting my reading album for this year. I know I'm a little bit behind. We're definitely past the halfway mark of the year. So I have a lot of books to add to this reading album, and I've always been a big reader. I just never have really thought to combine my two hobbies and like document them. I use different apps and stuff to, add reviews and rate my books and add comments and things like that, but I figured it would be fun to do it in a crafty and creative way. So I'm going to be using mostly scraps for this project. So I'm just going to start by showing you guys what I'm using, and then we will get into making, hopefully documenting the first couple of books, maybe even 3, I don't know. We'll just kind of see how things go. So what I'm using for this, like I said, it's all scraps. I know that these are full 12 by 12 papers, so that might not be scraps to some people, but I do have a good bit of like paper that I pulled that I feel like will match the vibe that I'm going for. So I'm going with like very bright, colorful, summery things. This is an album that is supposed to make me happy. So I have this little acetate piece here, which is kind of cut up on the top and bottom. So I want to use that up. And then most of these papers are from the Dear Lizzy collection, the She's Magic. So I'll just show you. And I bought these from Joann whenever this collection had just come out, when it was really popular. And I did use it for quite a bit of projects, I guess because the papers were on sale. I just had bought way too many, like more than I would ever use. So I'm using mostly this collection, but you'll see there's some other Dear Lizzy stuff mixed in from like A New Day. I have some of those embellishments and ephemera still left over. And I also have some Amy Tan. This one right here, this is Damask Love, and this is called Right at Home. This one's really cute as well, rainbow vibes. Fits into the collection pretty well. Another one of these ones. Looks like I have 2 of these. This is from She's Magic. And then this one is from Picnic in the Park, and this is by Amy Tan, Amy Tangerine. So this is the front, this is the back. And this is the last paper, and it is rainbow. This is also Amy Tangerine, Picnic in the Park. So those are the papers that I have, along with the acetate that I showed you guys. I do have a little scrap folder of some papers, some cut aparts, some different things. Some of these are like plain cardstock as well that I was using at the time that I was making the collection. So that's all of the paper that I have. Oh, sorry, actually I have 2 6x8 albums. Yeah, so I have this one, the She's Magic, which a lot of this is cut up, so this will mainly, I really don't feel that I'm going to use this that often. And then I have It's All Good collection. I love these papers. I never got anything else from this collection though, so I'm not really 100% sure on why I bought just the paper, but it's really cute, and I hope that I can use some stuff. What I like is that it's not all like lovey-dovey, because if I'm documenting reading and all of like the cut aparts and the phrases are like, you make my heart sing and being with you is magic, like it just doesn't really make sense to use that for a reading album. And this is good because it has not that type of stuff. So I'm using all of those papers, and then here are some of the embellishments that I have. So I feel like this kind of fits with the rainbow theme. This is the Chasing Dream puppy stickers. I have the Dear Lizzy A New Day tassels here, which will be fun to add to some different papers. I also have the A New Day ephemera. I used to love this collection. If you guys go back far enough on my channel, I might try to link it below. I have so many videos using this collection because it used to just be like one of my favorites. Nobody else really seemed to be as into it as I was though. So I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. And then I pulled some different stickers that I have like in my stash, things that are like partly used, some stuff might be somewhat new. So this is actually Paige Evans. This is Pick Me Up. This is Dear Lizzy, She's Magic. This was a new sticker sheet that I found, but I have a used one that I'll try to use first. This is A New Day. I found this in my stash, you guys. It's never been used. So cute. I can't wait to use this collection again. I have, this is also Paige Evans. This is from her Whimsical collection, I guess, or what was it called? It wasn't Pick Me Up. It was a different one that she came out with. Well, these don't have any clues on there, but hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. This has never been opened, but I thought this would be fun for some different dimension. I have the Chamel box of crayons. This is partly used, mostly new though. I thought that the rainbows were really cute. Some of these stickers actually have like reading inspired things, so that could be why I incorporated it. This is the same sticker sheet from the Dear Lizzy collection, but most of these have been used. Or actually, there's still a good bit left, so like I said, I'll use that first. Have no idea what collection this is from. Looks like it could be Vicki Boutin, but I thought this would be cute for the phrases. And we have like some little tassel things, arrows. Yeah, I thought we could use that up. This is also Vicki Boutin. I think this is the same collection. So some more stickers. Try to use that. And then I also pulled this. I don't really think this fully matches what we're doing here, but it is very colorful and rainbow enough that I feel like it could work. And then lastly, I just pulled out a chipboard thing that I have here. I think this is Jen Hadfield, but I don't know what collection. And I don't know if I'm going to use this a whole lot. I just wanted to pull something that has, that is, you know, not as flat as like stickers and ephemera. But there are some like smaller pieces here that I like. There's one here that has books in it, so we'll definitely incorporate that. Some like little teas, some little things here and there that I think we might be able to work out and use in the collection or in our album. So that is all of the stuff that I have. I'm just keeping it to the side in a box. And now I want to show you some books that I want to document. So I've read 14 books so far. Today is June 20th, I think. What's today's date?
23rd.
So today is June 23rd. So we're about, you know, halfway through the year now. We are halfway through the year. My goal is to read 33. So I guess I'm a little bit behind on that goal. But I do have some catching up to do. I'm on summer break, which is awesome. But I have half of the books that I've read printed here, not all of them. So this, and they're somewhat in order. I can't remember exactly, but I know that this was the first book that I read this year, Daisy Darker, Lullaby. I love Chuck Palahniuk. His books are awesome. Lisa Taddeo is also an awesome author. And I'm sure that I'll be talking to you guys more about these once I start documenting them. This one's probably controversial, but I love Gabriel Garcia Marquez. His books are amazing. He wrote Love in the Time of Cholera, if you've read that one. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. That one was a favorite for this year. Vanishing Half. Chouette, which was a very strange one, and this audiobook that I read. So I just have 10 here, so obviously that's not everything. I probably won't document all of these today. We'll just kind of see how far we get. I'm using one of these 6x8 craft colored albums that you can get from Hobby Lobby. These are like $6, and I love them because you can totally customize them to be however you want. And there are 3 rings, so you can just move stuff around however you want. So I'm going to take all of the pages out of this, and we will go ahead and get started. So I'm going to try to work in order for the best that I can remember. I might have to look at my Goodreads. So we will start with this one here. Okay, so originally I had planned to kind of like talk you guys through my process of this, but it was raining and thundering whenever I recorded, and I thought it would be like kind of nice background sounds. And that it would be fine, but whenever I listened to the recording over, it was a little bit loud. It was just kind of distracting, so I figured it'd be better if I just voiced over this section of the video. So I'm just putting together the first spread here, and the first book that I read this year was Daisy Darker. So I'll just give you guys like a quick synopsis if you haven't read it and you're interested. So this book is by Alice Feeney, and she is a really big Agatha Christie fan. So this is kind of her own take and twist on Agatha Christie and Then There Were None, which is like one of the very first popular like thriller type of murder mystery books. And I felt like it could have been better. I didn't really connect with the main character. I thought that the main character was really childish at certain times, and that the book was just a little bit cliche. Like, for example, there's this one part where it gets you all anticipated for the stranger that's busting in, and then they realize, like, a couple chapters later that it was somebody that they had invited to this party and this dinner thing. And it's just like, what was all the anticipation for? Like, you knew this person was coming. But I think that, you know, mystery books kind of do that a lot. So I still gave it 3 out of 5 stars because there were definitely certain elements that I enjoyed. The book had a really good plot twist at the end that I did not see coming. And I guess that wasn't really a synopsis, that was more of a review. But basically, what happens in the book is that the grandmother calls all of her family together for what she believes will be her last birthday. She went to a fortune teller, and the person told her that she wouldn't live past, I think, like 84 or something. And so on her 84th birthday, she calls all of her family to come together at her house on the water. And they all come because they believe that she'll be reading her will and sharing who's going to get the house, who's going to get her money, and all of that. She's a very popular children's author, so everybody goes, even though the family doesn't really get along anymore. And it gets kind of dark and twisted because they all end up having to spend the night there. The water rises and her house is on stilts. So there's definitely some creepy elements, and it goes back and forth between timelines of like how the sisters and the family fell apart, why they don't get along anymore, and then current times where there's stuff happening in the house as the time leads up to the grandmother's 84th birthday and when she's supposed to read her will. So it is a very interesting concept, and if you like thrillers, mystery, creepy type of stuff, then you would probably like this one. I just know that for me, like, this isn't something that I would typically read, but it was recommended to me, and it was just not my favorite. But again, I give it some credit here because of the plot twist. So yeah, sorry, that was a really long rant about the book. But as you can see, I just used that card to write my rating, which is 3 out of 5 stars. And then I wrote like a little note about that. And then on this plain yellow card, I am going to add some more journaling here just about how I felt about the book. And I do speed that up so you don't have to sit for like 6 minutes and watch me write my review here. It's sped up like a lot more than the rest of it. So yeah, basically all the stuff that I just kind of told you guys, I wrote on this. And I felt like I tried to use colors that would match the actual cover of the book, which is like kind of navy, and then the title is written in a bright yellow, and her name is Daisy in the book, so it makes sense that I use like some flower elements and things like that. Not all of my spreads that I do in this album will make sense for what it is that I'm making, but I hope that it can kind of at least match some elements or be a little bit symbolic of what the book was about. So the second book that I read this year is called Lullaby by Chuck Palahniuk, and he's one of my favorite authors. One of my favorite books of all times is Fight Club. If you haven't read it, you definitely need to read it or at least watch the movie. Super good, very different. And so I read his second book this year called Lullaby, and what happens in Lullaby is there is this journalist who reports on murders that happen in his city and nearby areas, specifically like child murders. And what he notices that all of the scenes have in common is that there is this book of African lullabies, either checked out from the libraries or owned by the parents, and it's always flipped to page 27. Which is an African culling song. And when he researches it a little bit more, he realizes that whenever you read this poem out loud, it actually evokes death to whoever you read it to, or whoever is like in the room when you read it. A lot of the times it will also kill the parents or whoever read it sometimes as well. So he makes it his mission. He meets up with another lady who had the same fate happen to her child. She knows the truth of it, but she's never talked to anybody about it. She's kind of using it for her own advantage, which is really messed up. And she doesn't want anybody to know, but he knows. So they kind of go on this mission to find all of the books in the world that have this culling song and get rid of them for good. So that way no more like unnecessary child deaths happen. But obviously there's some like pitfalls on the journey and on the mission. Things don't go quite as planned. They meet up with some really quirky characters. There's a lot of like witch and coven stuff involved as well. And then towards the end of the book, it got like super magical. Like people were being reincarnated. It was very different. It was honestly not what I was expecting. And when I finished the book, I was still a little bit confused about some parts. And I don't know if that's just because like maybe I didn't take notes, or maybe I was supposed to be annotating, or I almost felt like I missed something. I was like, what did I miss here? But I still gave it, I think I gave it 3 out of 5 stars because the main storyline, the one about the book, I just thought that was interesting. And if you've read any Chuck Palahniuk, like, you know that he's a really good writer. It's like there's so much good imagery. Like, I remember this one scene with a carnival, and I literally felt like I was there. Like, it was so beautiful, this carnival that they went to. So I gave it 3 out of 5 stars for that. I'm thinking maybe I just need to read it again to get the full story. It's like one of those things where you're like, oh, wait, what? So yeah, that was a Lullaby. And on this page, you can kind of see that I did the same thing that I did on the last one. So I added a little page with the phone there at the bottom. The phone actually does tie into what happens in the book. The phones are like kind of a center of the theme, like the author or the main character, the narrator, he's always talking about how distracted everybody is, how obsessed they are with their phones, their pagers, their devices, things like that. So I felt like that kind of tied in a little bit. And then I just wrote my review on there. Now I'm using some of that chipboard from the Jen Hadfield collection that I showed you guys at the beginning. I also added a little date sticker here so that I can look on my Goodreads and see what date I read this. And at the bottom, I do end up writing how many stars that I gave this book. And then I tried to do this silly thing where I did like a sketchy border. But because there were the diamond dots on the back, it got super crooked. So I just kind of cut some of that out. It looked a little messy at the end, but I think that it did kind of help tie the black together because there were a lot of black elements on the page as well. So just moving a few things around here and finishing up the last part of the spread. So I do plan on this being a series. There's going to be a few more, obviously, that I need to make. These are just the first 2 books. So let me know what you guys think about this first spread, and hopefully you guys will tune in for episode 2. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a great day. Bye.